Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Roby Isaac, the Vice President of Commercial Design for Mannington Commercial. How you doing, Roby?
I'm doing well, Kemp. How are you doing this morning?
I'm well. So you won a HIP award. We'll get to that in just a minute. First, let me tell our listeners a little bit about your background. You're the leader of this commercial design at Mannington Commercial, and you've been there 13 years. Spent a year and a half at Milliken. The earlier jobs started out as Monterey and then turned into Tandis as they acquired them. But you worked under Jack Michigan, and I'm a huge fan of his, and he was one of your teachers, right?
That's right. Yeah, Jack was amazing. Fortunate to be able to get into the industry and work with a legend like Jack. Jack's history with Bentley and Monterey. Not only just his wealth of knowledge, but just his passion behind product development. You couldn't help but just be happy about developing product when you're around him. Talk about good fortune.
He always had a smile on his face and had a great demeanor, and he was the kind of guy who could jump under a tufting machine with a wrench.
You're absolutely right. I mean, he made it fun. He was under the machine a lot. A lot of times I'd come in and he would be digging around in the trash to see what was cool that we were going to throw away, and he'd come up with some really cool ideas, but he'd just be happy being under the machine, seeing what's coming off, and just kind of inspiring us. So I learned a ton from him.
Another thing that is part of your core development is you're actually a classically trained textile designer because you went to Philadelphia University.
Yeah, when I went there, it was still the College of Textiles and Sciences. So the program was great because they taught you from soup to nuts, where you learned about the science behind textiles, behind fiber science and chemistry of dyeing. And then it was coupled with the aesthetic side. So we went through a lot of design foundations courses all the way up to turning the science and the foundations into a real tangible object. So it was a design school, but it was really rooted in how do you get from a concept of having nothing and making this object that people can use. So it was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
They say in the graphic artist category that you can't be a good graphic artist if you just jump right onto software. You need to know pen and ink. And I think that metaphor kind of conveys over to what you're talking about with your background.
Yeah, I painted my drawings first before taking them into a digital format. Even with the weaving class I had to take, we had to do the hand looms before you got into the large production jacquard loom. So you learned the basic elements before you took it to the digital place.
Okay, well, let's go to that award you won, a HIP award, the leader in design for this year. Congratulations on that. That's quite an honor, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, thank you. I mean, what an honor. Yeah, to be able to be recognized by peers in the industry who have become colleagues, but also friends. It was a surprise. I mean, I'm still kind of reeling over it. It's such an honor. I was sitting there at the Mart, and I knew that I was in the sort of running, and then I kind of looked up, saw on the slideshow presentation a picture of me as a little kid and my mom, and I was kind of blown away. So they had Cindy Allen had pulled stuff off the internet about me and my history, and oh my gosh, I was just blown away. It is such an honor.
Well, you've earned it. So let's talk a little bit about that. Just in NeoCon, just over a month ago, talk about a couple of the categories, some of the products you introduced that were the most well received.
Kemp, so as you know, at Mannington Commercial, we work in a lot of different categories, from carpet to LVT, rubber, sheet vinyl. At NeoCon this year, we showed a little bit of everything. The front of the showroom, we had a really great new LVT product called Natural Optimist. It's a 4mm LVT, and the product that we showed was this really great abstract. It's called Gemma. It's based on this idea of textiles, like a woven fabric. It has this really cool hint of like this luster to it. So it's one of these special products that as you're walking through, you see this little glimmer. It makes it feel a little bit more luxurious, I guess, if you want to say. But another cool part of it is because of its thick profile, you can butt it up against carpet without any transition. So that was one great thing. Right next to it, we had a new carpet collection that we just introduced. It's called the New Composition. And that is a product, the name of it refers to a study that we did on this artist named Vasily Kandinsky. And he had these paintings that were based on symphonies like a musician would do, and he had these compositions 1 through 8. So we had this carpet collection called the New Composition, and that won a HIP award for education. The New Composition is a modular collection. Just really proud of the fact that we can work on really interesting designs that people are appreciating and recognizing, and just kind of getting Mannington back into the design spectrum of work.
You also got to work with some New Zealand wool with your Captivate collection, right?
Yeah, that's right. When we acquired Atlas Maslin a couple of years ago, we inherited their rug program, and we started off with a collection called Elevate. So we were just kind of adding on to this. This collection, Captivate, is available both in broadloom as well as rugs. So on the rug side, you can do whatever you like, shapes, sizes, and with the added broadloom option, we think that product can go into areas where you just need something beautiful to add to that project. You know, the special areas like the conference rooms or the boardrooms.
Something to cover up that old concrete, right?
That's correct. That's correct. One of the things that I'm really, really happy about and really excited about for the Mannington Commercial brand is our sustainability venture.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a wonderful new partner. He's our director of sustainability, Shane. I don't know if you've met him, but he's kind of leading a charge, and we're doing a lot with his guidance and leadership with our businesses in the categories of carpet and LVT. We're looking at ways to keep moving forward. And at the NeoCon showroom, we had a product called Proxy, which is a PVC tile and plank collection. And we had it in this really interesting wood visual in the back. We really received a lot of great attention. We've had customers come through, both at the showroom and our mill, that are enthused about the direction that we're moving forward with product there as well.
Mm-hmm. Talking just briefly before we run out of time, a little bit about the design trends. I mean, we covered it. You see a lot of sandy beige. You see a lot of that reddish color. You see organic looks. Talk about a couple of the trends that are out there in the commercial market now.
The things that we keep hearing about are, warmth and welcoming, that are all tied back to this idea of hospitality. I mean, whether it's in office or workplace or healthcare, even education in a lot of ways, higher ed, we're seeing this need for welcoming people back into the space. Obviously, with the way things have been over the last couple of years, people have been relegated to being at home and being comfortable with that. And to bring people back out of the home and into working and learning environments, you need to make it welcoming and inviting for them to be there, to leave the nest of their home. So we're kind of seeing that reflected in color, but also in pattern, softness of pattern, texture, as opposed to these really hard geometrics and angular things. Yeah, we're seeing just that warmth and hospitality in products necessary.
We quoted you in our NeoCon coverage. You said that Resimercial's not going anywhere, right?
Yeah, I think that there is still the traces of that everywhere.
All right, Robbie, it was good to talk to you. Congratulations again on your HIP award. Again, been talking to Roby Isaac, the Vice President of Commercial Design with Mannington Commercial, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.